Steve Pieczenik, and this is Steve Talks.
Hello, this is Dr. Pieczenik. Several days ago, a New York Times editorial pointed out that our president is totally incompetent, erratic, irrational, and in many ways has to go. In my opinion, that's called a soft coup. What is a soft coup? It means that a bunch of people have gotten together and basically are trying to undermine the president so that Mike Pence, a man of very little distinction, a man without any merit, a man who should not have been the vice president, would be next in line to become the president. That will not happen. Now, many people wonder who did it and why. In my opinion, I've been involved in a lot of soft coups and hard coups, which involve military coups. In this case, there was no military officer who was involved, because if a military officer had been involved, he would have been indicted right away and court-martialed. The person behind this was John Bolton, a man of very little merit, a man who's a total sociopath whom I've known for decades, and was reprimanded by two of my intelligence operatives. One was Carl Ford, who came from the Florida State University. He was a member of DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, and said correctly that John Bolton is a sociopath who sucks up to people and denigrates the people below. There was another intelligence operative who I've had great respect, Richard Armitage, who served in the Vietnam War, and said that this man is out of control. Bolton was in the Bush administration, the Reagan administration, and I had worked with him. He is a person who would bully anyone for his own reasons. He should not have come in, and it was Trump who brought him in. I warned Trump that Mike Pence and John Bolton were not the kind of people that we in the conservative Republican ranks wanted. Number one, they never achieved anything. Number two, they were manipulators. Number three, they were not really true conservatives. Now, what do I mean? John Bolton came out of a Catholic background. He went to Yale. He worked with the Clintons, worked with Clarence Thomas, and then eventually was found with criminal activities under the Taiwan Act of $100 million, as well as the Iran-Contra. He was reprimanded, should have been in prison several times, but was not. The other man, Mike Pence, is a man of no merit whatsoever, did not achieve anything, and was on a political track to self-aggrandize up to the position of a congressman, governor, and then eventually vice president. But what are we really talking about? What we're talking about is collusion. Collusion means that one person is helping the other to get to where they need, and eventually leads to a soft coup. The fact that John Bolton went to Yale is important because his model was Cheney, an alcoholic who went to Yale and created 9/11. Another person who was a disaster and went to Yale was Bush Jr. Then we have John Kerry, who also went to Yale. And then guess who else went to Yale? Anderson Cooper. And so we have this Yale coalition of ineffectual, self-aggrandizing sociopaths. And guess who else went to Yale? None other than Bob Woodward, who was also an incredibly self-incriminating liar, incompetent writer, and was described by Anthony Lewis of the New York Times as dysfunctional writer and individual who sucked up to the people in Washington so that they could have their moment of glory. What I'm saying is very important right now, because I was surprised that any of this could have happened and that there wasn't a swifter action. The fact that John Kelly is from the Marines and was in charge of the national security should have mandated the fact that he should have come in with a swift action, taken out John Bolton, Pence, and a whole group who was behind John Bolton, including David Wurmser, whom I fired. This is a young Jewish boy who never served our country and was the deputy to Cheney. So you have a whole group of neocons who were brought in, including Zalmay Khalilzad, who I've warned was the father of the Iran-Iraq war, was involved in the takedown of Afghanistan, was involved in the war with the Taliban, and now who's using him? Pompeo. I think that's a very big mistake. So in fact, what should happen is a counter coup where the whole place is cleaned out. I do not trust Ivanka Trump or Jared Kushner to take care of any of these problems. I do trust Melania Trump to say this is not acceptable. Let me say in the words of the famous cartoon character Pogo, who was created by Walter Kelly, I have seen the enemy, and the enemy is us. So I warn Trump, you have created your own disaster. Now clean it up. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Dr. Steve Pieczenik. This is Steve Talks.